Hey guys, today I'm going to discuss on the 11 things that you should ideally know before you invest in the aluminum sector. Let's look into what are those aspects. So, the number one aspect that we should be knowing about are the list of well known companies in the sector. So, if we discuss in the Indian context, the companies which are the most well known in the aluminum sector are Hindalco, Balco, Nalco, Vedanta Aluminium, and Malco. So, the next thing is certain insights of the sector. One of the thing which is very specific to the aluminum sector is that it's pretty consolidated, and Hindalco is the biggest producer in the sector, and India has the seventh largest reserve of bauxite in the world, and we'll see why bauxite is important once because we also need to know or have an understanding around the product, right? What is aluminum composed of? So if we see over here, aluminum is produced from alumina, which is refined from bauxite. That's why the extent of reserve of bauxite where India is standing in that context gets to be important. The chief source of aluminum is bauxite ore. It is a silvery white and ductile metal, aluminum is. So it is the most abundant metal in the Earth's crust and the third most abundant element therein after oxygen and silicon. It takes up about 8% by weight of the Earth's solid surface. Aluminium is too reactive chemically to occur in nature as a free metal. It is found combined in over 270 different minerals. And due to its low weight and price, aluminium has significant competitive advantage over copper. And aluminium is remarkable for its ability to resist corrosion and for its low density, making it a key raw material in the aerospace, transportation, and building industries. Its reactive nature also make it useful as a catalyst or additive in chemical mixture. See, guys, it's very important. Why I'm going to come up with a series of such product related, sector related understanding, because I believe that. Before one actually invests in a particular sector, though we do fundamental analysis and technical analysis, but if we don't understand the sector in its entirety, then we cannot really interpret both from a technical understanding as well as fundamental understanding in determining the right stock. So I would like to share across on this so that you can get more comprehensive understanding of the sector and then relate things better, and that game of probability which is all about investing, you get a better probability in terms of your investment returns, as because your ability of judging due to the fact that your understanding of the sector is better gets improved, right? So I hope it helps, and please do give your likes and shares, because that would be motivating for me to come up with such videos, right? So let's see on the fourth aspect, which are the major export destinations. So in case of aluminium, the major export the countries where India exports the most are Singapore, Malaysia, USA, United Arab Emirates, and Nigeria, right? And which are the major countries from whom India imports? They are sorry, it should be China out here. Yeah, so China, South Africa, Thailand, and Germany. Then what are the demand drivers for this industry? So the major end use of aluminium is in sectors like electrical, construction, transport, and packaging. The other sectors where it has wide usage are power, machinery and equipment, and consumer durables. Aluminium is used as overhead conductors, transformer coils, bus bars, foil wraps of power cables. Transport is a major potential growth sector for aluminium consumption, because Indian automobiles use roughly one third of the aluminium used in Western countries. So suppose if you have got a news or if you have read an article where you understand that this is where aluminum is used and this is where the raw material sources are, and these are the areas where the export is done, and this is where from the import is taking place. If you have sense around this set of things, then how you perceive as to how the industry is going to move in the future improves manifold. I see many people who is there in the stock market who actually has no sense about the industry, about the product, about the trade related aspects of that particular sector. There's no understanding of this sort, and as because one is not having an understanding of this nature, he or she is really not being able to take decisions wisely and thus lose money in the sector, right? Sorry, in the market. So these are the set of things, the demand drivers, the countries, and as a few element about, I have a few specific about the product, the specific insights about the sector. One should have a general understanding. You shouldn't just go blindly and invest in a company. You should understand which sector it is, of how the economy is working, how the sector is doing vis-a-vis the other sectors, how what is some good things that is coming up in the sector. So this set of informations is going to be very useful, and I think it would add a lot of value to you. So let's move on to number 7. Let us understand which are the highest global producing regions of aluminium. So that is China, North America, East Central Europe, Western Europe, Latin America, Africa, and India. And as far as major aluminum producing companies globally, so these are few of the companies which are known for aluminum production globally. That is UC Russell, Rio Tinto Alcan, Alcoa, Calco, and Hydro Aluminium. Which are the highest global consuming regions? That's North America, Western Europe, China, East Central Europe, Latin America, India, and Africa. If we look on the financial aspects, if you see the broader structure and if we do an industry analysis, you would see that raw material cost comprises of roughly 47 to 50% of the total cost. Power and fuel cost comprises of roughly 10 to 15% of the total cost. Salaries and wages comprise of roughly 4 to 6% of the total cost. SGA and selling general and administrative expenses comprise of roughly 3 to 4% of the total cost. Operating margin comes to roughly 30 to 35%, whereas net margin comes to roughly 13 to 17%. And the D ratio of the sector is around 1. Now, this is I believe it's a very big insight that I'm placing across to you guys. And if you have if you have taken a decision of investing in this particular sector, and if you have this set of figures, then once you have those benchmarks in front of you, if you go to the financial figures of the companies and get to see it's widely varying beyond this range, then you have to really probe into that reason as to why this set of things are happening, right? Because then that would take you into more granularity and give you more understanding about the particular sector. I mean to say the particular company, and vis-a-vis the other companies in the same sector, right? So just emphasize on this and really look into these aspects. And there are certain things which moves over a period of time, and you have to keep track of on those aspects, and those are the price trends, consumption trend, production trend, capital expenditure that is getting infused in this particular sector, the import export scenario, the demand growth, and the interest rate risk. So these are the aspects which you should undertake some research and try to keep a hang of as to how the trend is actually moving over a period of time, because that would really give you a sense as to how the projection is going to unfold, right? So I think before you actually invest in a sector, whether you are a technical guy or a fundamental guy, you have to have sense around this, because you if you're taking a technical position also, though it's based on movement of prices, charts, indicators, but obviously you cannot keep your eyes and ears closed if there is something happening in the sector, right? So you have to interpret. Now if someone says to you that okay, there is a large consignment which is coming from Latin America, then you need to understand, is Latin America a net exporter or an importer, and how that has to be like considered in terms of whether it's a positive news or a negative news, and then accordingly you can change your stance, right? So I hope it adds value. Please share, like, and do comment on what you think about this, and I'll, your words of encouragement would really help to make me do such videos in the coming days, right? So thanks a lot.